Empty.
What's up, pod? 2 days in a row? Doing a stream 2 days in a row? When's the last time I did I did a stream 2 days in a row? Can anyone tell me? No one can. Welcome back. It is, what day is it? Tuesday? Now it's Wednesday. What up? What up? And today, pretty much this is part 2. Yesterday, we discussed some things. We're going to continue to talk about those things again tonight. I'm going to try to hit the things that I wanted to cover and look at yesterday that we didn't get to. Do that today. And then some new thoughts. And again, the room is open to topic change, but we do have to go. So previously, and actually the last night was especially for being pretty spontaneous, at least for my numbers. It was a good night. So thank y'all. Thanks for the engagement. The few that participated last night. That was a lot of fun. And it's good. That's really what I want. That's one of the reasons why I started doing YouTube stuff. I mean, obviously I spent a lot of time on YouTube, and I'm a creative. I make stuff anyway. But as far as this kind of thing, talking, I don't know. I think it's healthy. Sometimes, or you can at least learn from it. But we are streaming to Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. YouTube is obviously the main thing. And what I did this time go around, I'm pretty sure it worked, but I did because last night the call-in link was only on the YouTube channel. Now I think that's going to be the best way that you can get it. I think if you're watching on Facebook and you look in the comments, it's pinned there. Instagram, I'm not gonna lie, I still don't really know how I'm not really sure how that joint works. Instagram's weird. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. But I'll say this, from the last time I streamed, which was a few months ago. We went over that last night, right? Was it May? It was a lot. It's a lot better. It looks like they got rid of that time thing. I don't know if anyone remembers that. For anyone that use StreamYard on Instagram, it wasn't doing that weird after this amount of time. But yeah, let's see. Again, guys, if you're back, welcome back. If you're new and you're watching, or you're watching the playback, welcome. I'm Spro, but you can call me Shannon. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, right? Because that helps us out over here. I got mouths to feed. You feel me? But not only that, but I want as many people to see this stuff as possible, because if more eyes see it, then someone will see it that will get something from it and like it and enjoy it. And entertain. But that's mainly the videos. But stuff like this is fun. This is for engagement. But we got to keep it entertainment. Here we
Subscribe, please. Because subscribe, please. Yes.
Subscribe. Please, and click the bell, because that's how you'll get notified when I go live or something. Okay. So last night we talked about I mean, yeah, the political state of the country. And one of the big things that I kept repeating that I kind of feel like I didn't even get to really expound upon as much last night is the very odd, hence the title of yesterday's stream and tonight's stream, the hype that has come out of nowhere for Kamala Harris. Someone needs to explain it to me. Sorry, I wanted to light a cigarette. I don't know, I like doing it. It's like I'll smoke on camera, but I won't light a cigarette on camera either way. But yeah, I don't understand the hype. Literally not that long ago, no one liked her, and she's been like silent for 2 years and some change. Like you didn't really hear much from her. And now all of a sudden she's a Democratic nominee. They didn't vote. You know, they just were like, oh, her, yeah. The people who you like, the other guys in charge, like they said that they like her. So we're gonna our democracy's at stake. So we're gonna have y'all not vote. Like, it doesn't make sense. And it's even weirder. I was talking to my brother earlier, and I was just like, dude, like, I just don't get it. Like, people who, and again, I don't want to become, you know, what I criticize. You know, I don't think that. I mean, it really does depend. It depends on the person, but I know a lot of good people, you know, who, you know, they think differently than me politically, and I'm shocked because, like, you know, like, it's like I was like, yo, I like respect you, crazy. And in some of their cases, like, there are reasons that you can tell that maybe they're not aware of, because I would argue that they're objectively wrong. I feel like if you're like, oh yeah, Kamala Harris would be a great president, like, if you're one of those, I'm sorry, I feel like you're objectively wrong and ignorant. Does anybody disagree? Again, we have the call-in link, guys. This is about interaction with the people. That's what we're trying to do here. I very much enjoy panel discussions. I like doing them. So yeah, hit me with it. And then this guy, Tim Walz. Now I don't know who he was. Again, I'm a layman. I'm a normie. I'm educating myself on these political wares. Oh, my camera's acting weird. But yeah, so I'm educating myself, right? Or trying to be educated. And like, so like, yeah, I don't know who this guy is. But like, so some people, so like, because it's on the TV at work, you know. And I'm talking to some coworkers about it, and they're telling me, like, oh yeah, this guy, you know, and I'm not like, this dude looks as American as apple pie. They're like, oh, he was a football coach and a teacher, you know. I'm like, oh, that's cool. He was a vet. I'm like, dope, wow. And when that happened, I was thinking, I was like, oh, that's really smart. I was like, I don't know anything about this guy, but just from those things, I see why. I see why he was picked, so to speak. I would argue, my theory is, it's not I don't have that much to like really. Yeah, it's just a theory. But like, if I had to guess, I would say the reason why he was picked, well, there's probably more reasons why he was picked, which I'm gonna get into that. I'm building up to something. But like, my first thought was just from seeing him on TV and people at work telling me about him. And these are people who are they're on the Kamala train, man. Which is so weird. Like, no one could give me a real reason. Like, like you ask someone, like, "Oh, why is Kamala?" Like, and they'll just start going down like her resume, and I'm like, I mean, get this. That's some of it, okay. Like, get this. There's someone else who's way more qualified to be president than her that has like the same resume or close to it. If they had half the things on her resume, they still will probably be a better person. But yeah, so like they're telling me about this guy, and I'm thinking like they picked this guy because I guess surface level, like just from what I saw, like from what I saw visually and what they were telling me about him, I'm like, oh, he sounds like he would be a conservative or a Republican. But no. He and I think it go. And what's interesting is the report I was watching was MSNBC. So is what's her name? Joy Baldy. Yeah, so she's on there, and she's just like, yeah, he's just like a real down to earth normal guy. Like, she kept like saying it over and over, and like I noticed it, and I was like, why is she saying that like that? And then I remembered the new thing is to call Trump and the and Republicans and people who are voting that way weird, just to say, because like JB Vance, I'm not gonna lie, yeah, he's definitely like a weird dude, but like not for the reasons they're saying. They're like, oh, he has a family and like cares about like people's money being right. He's weird. I mean, he has said some weird things. Well, not he hasn't said weird things. Like, he just like him and Trump, or not him and Trump, but like Trump and like him. What he said the thing about the cat ladies, like stuff like that is it's not, I would say, what we typically would hear from like a politician, maybe, or seen as maybe appropriate, which I think plays a part into why one of the reasons why Trump's campaign does pretty well. But at the same time, whoops. My chair. There we go. Hey. But yeah, like, so, but at the same time, like I do think a president and like an elected official should conduct themselves a certain way. It doesn't mean you can't be down there. Like I said that last night, like people like Obama, Clinton, like there are presidents that were cool, but they still carried themselves professionally, and like Trump can carry himself quote professionally, but like you know what I'm talking about. It's the way he talks, which again is hella entertaining, and it's really funny. He is really funny. But yeah, I don't think it helps. It's like you catch more flies with honey. But then again, it's like the gloves are off now, guys. There's no one cares about compromise anymore. It's all or nothing. It's gloom and doom. But we are going to get into some things. But again, guys, call-in link is pinned in the live chat. It's pinned obviously in the chat on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, I pinned it there. The link should work. Instagram, I did pin the link. I don't know if Instagram comments links it or not. I don't know. Or you can copy it, or if you're watching on Instagram, just go to the link in my bio. It'll take you to the YouTube channel. Click on this stream, and then yeah, you can call in. Let's see. You know what it is. Oh, but yeah, we're talking about Tim Walz or whatever. Yeah, so like, yeah, the whole weird thing. They got the weird thing. So it's like, oh, they picked this normal, like guy, like he's so like nice, right? Because all they told me was like, oh, he was teacher and a football coach and all that. And I'm like, okay, cool. Now, I started to see things obviously throughout the day. I wasn't like paying attention to the news, and like even before the stream, I didn't look up anything. Really, I found one. There's one article which kind of tickled my fancy. But actually, you know, yeah, let's just get into it. Let me pull it up. Bum, 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 bum. Paul, you sound bored. It's like, what's up? I'm chilling. I'm vibing. This is funny. I think it's funny. Oh, wait, work. There we go. Oh, man, these like... See, this is why no one likes reading the news. Because there's all these ads. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see that. One second. Here we go. Wait. Okay. Tim Walz labeled Tampon Tim by infuriated Republican after forcing schools to stock feminine products in boys' bathrooms. Okay, so first off, the wording is funny. Like the fact that Tampon Tim. Like now that's gonna be I mean, I don't know. This may not catch on. And this is like I said, this is something random that I saw and I thought it was funny. But it gave a little context. I started to read it and then I was like, you know what, let's do this during the jump. One sec, where is... Oh, this one, go for. Here, 1 second, get rid of this crap. There we go. All right, let's read. Tim Walz has a new nickname now that he is soaking up in the political that he is soaking up the political spotlight. The Democrat was announced as Vice President Kamala Harris's running mate this week and has been quickly absorbed by the campaign as a useful political asset. Being a white military veteran from the Midwest broadens Harris's appeal to new segments of voters, but Republicans have been quick to highlight this progressive bona fides that earned him the spot on Harris's ticket. Okay. So that I'll say that are I mean, I didn't say that exactly, but like that's why like him being like, again, this like older white dude, because I guess that's just the pairing, I guess, because maybe people are used to seeing her with Joe Biden. Maybe that's the reason. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, it's like okay, and get this, everyone does that, both sides do that, you know. You gotta figure out, I guess, where your weaknesses are, and then from there you know. Anyway, I've heard people calling him Tampon Tim because he was a progressive individual that wanted to put tampons in boy locker rooms in the schools as governor. Florida Republican Rep. Brian Mast said of Harris's VP picks gender policies. The name Tampon Tim has since been used throughout conservative circles to describe the governor picked to pad Harris's presidential prospects. Now, again, I just saw this. This is like I just randomly saw this. I'm gonna have to do like a little more looking into, but let's just for the sake of, because like this is entertaining. True, this isn't like just like dramatic, like over exaggerated, like just like nonsense because like these people maybe like of like Harris or like there we go. You guys can still hear me, right? All right, cool. Anyway, let's continue. So it makes perfect sense why he's been chosen by the Biden administration or by the Harris administration, because they are just a continuation of the extremism of the Biden administration. That's what the dude said. Mass also Mass from Florida. Mass also suggested that Harris has connections to Biden's worst presidential decisions, like the botched U.S. military withdrawal from Afghanistan and certainly the southern border. They're trying to downplay that. The border thing is funny. Did you guys see that? What was it? It was like I saw like this compilation of I used some of the clips. There was a few parts that I used in the Kamala video I did like last week, where every time she's asked about the border, and this is like a while ago. This is like over time. But like, yeah, she just kind of like dodges the question. She says like, "Oh yeah, I've been to the border." She's like, that's all she says. And the immigration thing, that's like, I guess that one could argue like that's like the big thing on like, in Trump's campaign, like that he's talking about. He's like, oh, we're going to secure the border. You have a secure border. We're going to stop the immigration problem. And the opposing side, I don't think that that's their number one go-to thing, is opposing that. But they obviously are the counter to that. Like they're going to say like, oh, well, what's wrong with having everyone come in? Like, are you racist? Which is so, again, it's so childish and like weird, like how this stuff like is even communicated and plays out. And I'm talking like by like educate, like people who know much more than me, like professional people. Like these are other, and again, politicians. Yeah, it's like fun to make fun of them, but like these are like educated people, right? These are like mature people, right? Like they have these jobs, but like no. And that's not what we see. And then like everyone, like society just kind of like just moves along with it. And again, one could argue like no matter what view you have, like, oh, you're leaning somewhere. But like it's weird for me again, because like I look at each individual thing like as its own separate, like personal like thing. It doesn't matter like what are we talking about? Get this, someone evil, right, could like make a statement that makes sense, and vice versa. Someone who's good could say something that's like really hateful. So like it's like I don't know, it's not fun anymore. As I was trying to say last night. Wait, I don't know if you guys see this very well. I mean, I'm barely having a hard time seeing it. I'm supposed to be wearing and I'm not. Whatever. Okay, that should be a good size. But anyway, all these ads, it's ridiculous. At the center of the new Tampon Tim moniker is the governor's choice to sign a 2023 law requiring that schools provide menstruation supplies in boys' restrooms at schools in Minnesota. All right. Specifically, the bill states that the products must be available to all menstruating students in grades 4 to 12. The measure was intended to provide discrete accommodations for transgender students in their bathroom of choice. Oh, you know what's crazy? This kind of goes into what were we talking about last night? Was it Biden's thing? It's like because remember, what was it? Like like you don't like my music or whatever, or not my music. Like the guy who, you know, he called in and he was critical. He thought me and Bull J were fascists. Because I forget why. Like I don't know. I think maybe I guess because I said like I was probably gonna vote for Trump. So, but one thing that he mentioned was he said Trump wants to get rid of trans people, like he wants to ban trans, which is a weird statement. And if you go back and like what ban trans, like what the hell does that mean? Ban trans. I don't know. But what do you guys think? Bum, bum. I love this genre. All right. But if you're just now joining us, welcome to the Spro Show. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, especially if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, like the video, share it. And if you're watching on Instagram, yeah, like it, share it, you know, and go to the link in the bio, go to the YouTube channel, click the bell. That way, you know, you can always know when we're hanging out. It's been a little while. Still trying to get back in the motion of things, you know, because like I work today, you know, like I'm tired, but you know, like the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. But you know what? We push through. Plus, the night is young. Like last night, what did we do? 3 hours? Was it? I think it was, yeah. We did 3 hours. And it was lovely. Now I have since obviously went back and edited in YouTube Studio. Like, I mean, the playback, like if you go back and watch it, it's not exactly the show. I mean, I cut out you know, intermissions, bathroom breaks. Yeah, you know how it is. But yeah, so again, so we talked about the trans stuff last night, and pretty much this just sounds like the opposite of what the bull was saying Trump was trying to do or whatever. Let me fix my camera there. There we go. But yeah, it's just the opposite. Pretty much like, so Trump, you know, I think things should be kept out of schools. And, you know, the bathroom stuff, which again, I said last night, the bathroom thing is like, obviously, like over the past like 10, 15 years, that is a failed experiment. And like, I get some people don't want like to hear that, or like some people get it, you know, off rip, but like, they're like, oh no, don't say that. No, that's objective. Like it just doesn't work. And then like the tampons to all menstruating students. It's like, oh, I thought we were supposed, like, what about feminism? But then you're a TERF. If you're like, oh, well, you know, the trans thing, like there's a lot of things on the one end, the one aisle of the trans thing. Because remember, we do have trans men matter, guys. But yeah, usually with the trans women thing, because then it's like, well, you know, what about the safety of women? And they're like, well, what do you mean? You know, because was it the Ricky Gervais thing? Her dick, you bigot. Not surprised at all. And it's just, again, it's interesting to hear people who are for this, the Kamala thing. Again, Kamala, what is it about Kamala? That's what I really want to talk about. I want someone to tell me. Guys, hit the call-in link. It is pinned in the comments. Where's the hype coming from? I mean, I already have like, I feel like I know what it is. Again, it's engineered. It's completely fake. And like, she's completely fake. Get this, all politicians are fake. Again, this is not me being so critical and so hype on Kamala is not because of my like vast like love and admiration and support of Donald Trump, right? It's not. And it's again, I'm gonna have to keep reiterating and saying that because we live in this day and age, in this space where you really can't say shit without people like again, you'll say something. They don't listen for the context. They don't want an explanation. They jump to a conclusion, and then anything you say after that, like it just nothing gets in. And that's not fair. And like I really like it, and I'm guilty of that too. I think it's a human thing. So like sometimes I have to dial it back myself and be like, okay, maybe this isn't that big a deal. Well, let's I want you bigger. Hey guys. Oh, look at them. Aren't they cute? Oh. Well, that's real nice. Look at them there. I can dig it. Oh, I see you in the back, man. Let me bring you on up.
Hello.
What up?
Not much. How you doing, man?
Living the dream. Very confused about the Kamala hype. Are you confused about the Kamala hype? Are you on the Kamala train?
Nah. I'm not even concerned about it, really.
I'm trying.
Yeah. I see you're grinding, man. I thought I'd just show my support and be here.
Oh, no, Paul. See, that's why, dude. Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. After I just said, but yeah. So like, what? So like, now are you a Democrat? Are you a Republican? Are you voting Democrat? Are you voting Republican? Like, third party? Are you libertarian? Like, do you categorize yourself? Do you just take each thing for each thing?
And dude, I'm just investing in camping gear. That's it.
Oh, are you not from the States?
Oh no, I'm from the United States. I'm looking at that whole situation like it's just time to invest in camping gear.
So you're just black pill. You're like, well, we're doomed. Yeah, we're fucked either way. So, wait, that's how it feels. You remember the Alien versus Predator poster? No matter who wins.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. But yeah, it's just beyond my control, so I'm not even going to sweat it.
I mean, I guess it's really not anything to sweat. It's still, I'll say this, it's funny and it's fun to talk about.
True.
Because I really again, the few people I've spoken to about I was like, yo, where is this Kamala shit coming from? Like, I already know how they feel. Like, I already know they don't like Trump. So we don't have to go down that train. But again, I if I was, let's say that I hated Trump the same way that I know a lot of people do. And I'm like, I just don't want him to win, right? I would be so pissed off that it was fucking Kamala on the bill. Like, I'd be like, what? That's so if Donald Trump is supposed to be Emperor Palpatine, that's like sending 3PO to fix the problem.
I don't know. I kind of look at it like this. Like, right now, electorally speaking, from what I've been able to gather, Trump's got it. He's got it on lock. All right. That's just electorally speaking. Popular vote-wise.
Yeah.
Popular vote-wise, Harris has a chance of winning and creating a contested battle of ideologies. But the popular vote does not decide the president.
Well, you were watching last night, right?
A little bit yesterday, yeah.
You were watching last night, right?
For the whole thing. I was there in the beginning.
Yeah, well, I had said her numbers, again, Trump is still ahead, and it still looks like he's definitely going to win, right? Because it's looked like that even before election season started, right? But her numbers are going up, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little surprised at. Not only am I a little surprised at the number increase, but I'm also surprised at how much money she raised. I'm also surprised at the amount of not only seeing it like, you know, like out in the internet space, but even in my actual real life day to day, like seeing this love and hype for her. And I'm really kind of having a hard time fathoming it.
Well, I mean, like, I don't know where you live. I live in Colorado Springs, which is more of a conservative bent in Colorado, whereas Denver is really like on the liberal side of things. In a conservative town,
That's every major city. I live in a major city.
Okay, so in major cities, I'm guessing you're looking at more of a liberal bent, and you know, like conservative towns by far outnumber the liberal towns overall. I mean, when you looked at Hillary running against Trump in 2016, that situation, you know, he lost the popular vote then, but he won the Electoral College. And if you looked at the counties back then, all the counties were surrounding like really liberal, very populous cities. And that came out to like, I think it was 5 or 6 like liberal cities. And all the votes voted that way. And then the rest of the country just said, no, we're voting for Trump. You know, and I'm not going to go into the 2020 thing where with the election being now contested yet again. I'm not sure what happened there. But, you know, like if you look at the past demographic of that, if you're in a liberal town, you're going to see a lot of your neighbors just be very on board with it. You know, and that's just how that's going to be. You know, the question is, do you have enough?
I do know a lot of people that are, you know.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, you're probably in a very liberal town.
I wouldn't say they're conservatives, but.
Yeah, my guess is you're probably in a very liberal town.
Is there a delay?
The rest of us are. A slight delay, I'm hearing.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I am. I live in a major city, but I'm in a red state. I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm in Philadelphia.
Good.
So, right. Yeah, which is kind of funny because it looked like she was going to pick Shapiro mainly to win over Pennsylvania, but there was that whole like I guess narrative will say there's no evidence to it that like, oh well, he's a Jew, so she's not going to pick him because that would be really bad considering the things that, you know, it's so weird. Everything is weird now. It's so weird.
I'll tell you
what. That's the word of the week, right? Weird.
I'll tell you what. That's actually really, in my view, kind of shocking and disappointing that she didn't go with Shapiro. Like, I don't know if maybe Shapiro said, you know what, I'm not touching this with the poll. But like, I'm really surprised that she didn't pick Shapiro. And I think that honestly would have done her a lot of good compared to this Walz guy that she's picked. I've never heard of him before. You know, yesterday.
It would have made people be like, that's not like them. Like, it would have tripped up a few people, but they don't need to. Again, this is all like, when I look at it and I'm like, yo, like, where's the hype coming from? And I see like what she's doing. Like I said, like this is just yesterday she announced this dude, and I saw him on TV, and then people who were in favor of her told me about him, and then I saw this article. Now this is just one thing about this guy, right? So like that doesn't mean that like, but like I feel like if you're in favor of this, like you're obviously, and no, of course she would pick someone that's going to be completely opposed to.
Well, already
because their whole spiel, everything they talk about, they don't talk about what they do. That's all they do.
Yeah, but already there's two things going on here. Like, one, he's already being accused of stolen valor. One of the things that he's being accused of is stolen valor. The other thing that he's being accused of is this whole trans rights thing going on. And, you know, the right is just going after the left on that. They really are. And they're using that as like...
Well, because they're lame now for that.
What's that? Say that again?
I said, like, the right, like, I mean, like the right or whatever, like I can dig like the energy, but like I don't like, because something I've been seeing for the past like year and a half, like they're starting to get as like kind of sensitive and cringe as the people they were criticizing before.
Well, the right's always been that way.
like, so now
Especially
even when
with
I
the
hear
Christian
like certain things, like even when I look at this article, I'm like, I believe it, but the what?
Well, I mean, the right's always been kind of cringe when it came to like the Christian fundamentalist side of things. Like that historically, I mean, I don't know how old you are. I'm going to be 50 this year. But historically, they've always been kind of cringe when it comes to Christianity and stuff like that. And they've really driven a lot of people away from the conservative movement itself. This is actually the first time you're starting to see people go into the right, and in spite of the Christian right being there. Like it's kind of a weird situation where, you know, you see Christian fundamentalists just being like, well, we really want Trump back, so we're going to put up with all these other people coming into the camp. I mean, like Amber Rose, I guess Kanye West's former girlfriend or whatever.
I saw that.
20 years ago, that would never have been.
I saw that.
You know, like, that is a huge thing. As far as the right's concerned, it's become much more open in that respect, which, you know, it honestly kind of reminds me of the Democratic Party 20 years ago. You know, like the look and makeup of it 20 years ago is resembling the right today. Yeah, so it's like, in terms of the hype, I think you're on point in saying it's completely manufactured. In terms of this Walz guy, they've already got two things that they're going to hammer.
Weird. I really do not.
You know, so it looks like it's not going to be good for the Democratic
I'm waiting
Party.
I'm waiting for the next big breaking news story where it's some unarmed black man who gets shot. Like, I mean, I know that sounds like morbid, but like, I feel like that's something like that is something racial is going to happen.
That would
and
be
the news is they're going to be like, there's our story. And they're going to grab onto it. And then, they're going to, or something trans, maybe to help spin this criticism.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it would be tragic.
Like something like that, because, and get this, we know what's going to happen.
Well, I mean, it would be tragic if something like that does occur. It would be truly tragic if something like that were to occur between now and Election Day. But also, I think a lot of people have been talking about false flags, you know, for a long time. And it's just, you know, I think a lot of people in America are just kind of oversaturated, so to the point where that wouldn't really have an effect. And so I hope nothing like that actually occurs. But if it did, I don't think it would really sway things one way or the other.
I like, it's just, again, it's getting like, because like I said, like even with like this art now, that's gonna be, because it's all about fear mongering, and for a minute it looked like it was only like the left doing it. Wait, what, Jay? It's putting the tape on you. I don't get the reference, but yeah, I don't know. I'm a fascist, I guess. You see, I don't know, Jay, if you saw the Joel last night, dude called me a fascist. But yeah, like it's gonna be like this article, whatever. I
was just saying, I see the comment here. Also, Spro, just put the tape on your ear. I don't get that.
Yeah.
I guess they could always call in and clarify the point.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, Jay might. Jay's a busy guy. But it's, oh crap, what was I saying? Yeah, so like this story, whatever, like that could be used. So like get this, again, that's just one point. Again, now I think that I would say it's a tell sign, like, oh, like this is why like they have him on board. And I think, again, with the whole weird thing they're trying to push, or like, you know, like that's kind of like the new gimmick. And like, get this, it's working. And what's funny is the Republicans are like actually like getting mad about it. Like they look like little kids. Like, I'm not weird, you're weird. And it's like, yo, it's working. It's like, yo, look, you see, they're like, it's everyone. It's like kids. It's like everyone's a big kid.
I think it's resorted to this kind of
But
childish.
yeah, hey, Alicia, what's up?
You know, and so like a lot of people are just saying, "No, I'm not weird. You're weird." But I think a lot of people are also just saying, "You know what? Yeah, I'm weird. That's just how that's gonna be." You know, like I think a lot of people.
I've seen
are just
people say that. Like I saw like Tim Pool, he was saying that.
Yeah. So I mean, I look at it as just we've been down this road before.
And
We've hated on each other.
get this, I don't think that'll work. Like if that, I mean, the best people are.
Yeah, I think people are kind of over it, you know. So if that's the tactic, then whatever happens.
Wait, one second. Wait, Paul.
Yo.
1 second. Wait, I'm gonna real quick. I'm gonna like refresh my page real quick. So I'm gonna drop down. Keep moving with your point because like the delay is like really getting to me. 1 second, guys.
Okay. Well, I guess my point is like people have been down this road before in terms of the amount of vitriol and hatred that's been thrown one way or the other. And I think a lot of people realized at the end of the day of the last election that, you know, that really wasn't worth it for anybody. And so now we've seen this before. I think overall everybody in America is just like, you know what? I'm not going to put that much energy into it. I'm just going to let people say what they got to say online and go about my day and move on and make my decision, whether it's go camping or vote right or vote left. And I think ultimately more people are just going to go vote right. I'm going to go camp. And people who vote left, they're going to be wondering why nobody else voted left. But my prediction is probably Trump's going to win. That's my prediction on it. And he may not win the popular.
Again, I think he's gonna win.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna win, but get this, is that good? And that's something I've been trying to tell people because like when I tell people like, oh, I'm probably gonna like if you know I vote, I'm most likely gonna vote for Trump, and they're like, well, I'm like, well, no, I don't necessarily think because I'm not gonna lie, I don't think that would necessarily be great for us either. I honestly think we need a hard reset.
I mean, if we look at
I think again.
Yeah,
it would be better. I think it would be bad for us culturally, significantly. Because again, he is a piece of shit, and that's why I keep trying to tell people, even people, because like even people who are for Trump, when I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna vote for him, and they're like, oh, like yeah, and then again they start with their conspiracy theories. And I'm like, yo, you sound just like the other side. Like I'm like, no, I'm not. He's not the Messiah. Like he is a piece of shit. And get this, I said this last night. He is in it, kids. Wait 1 second. Let me cook real quick, kids. He's in it for himself. They're all in it for themselves to line their pockets. Now, and again, this is every single president, even the good ones, right? They're all in it for themselves. And I was saying last night, like it's really corny and like it kind of almost sounds like a cop out. Like I don't even like saying it, but it's like the kind of thing where it's like, yo, the lesser of the two evils. Because I don't even like that because one of the criticisms I have, I'm like, yo, I feel like people make their political decisions based off of who they don't like instead of the people that are championing the things that they're for.
Well,
it's weird.
So one thing I would say to that, historically, like it wasn't until Eisenhower that presidents became rich or had a guaranteed standard of living. Like Truman, who's considered probably one of the worst presidents. When he got out of office, it was Eisenhower who actually instituted that presidents get money after they get out of office because Truman was living a very meager existence. If my history is serving me correctly, and if I'm wrong, I apologize. But at the time, when Eisenhower, after FDR and all that, he became elected, Truman was like, all right, we got to do something because seeing Truman in this bad of shape financially, because he was living a very impoverished existence at the time. That's when actually pension plans started happening for presidents. And he was considered one of our greatest presidents ever, FDR. But he put that into effect because his predecessor was living like hand to mouth at the time. So not all of the presidents have been in it for the money per se. They've been in it for the power and for their duty and all that stuff. But prior to Eisenhower, no president actually had a retirement or pension plan. And a lot of them did go broke. That's the reason.
Well, I would say
why
the money and the power, like it comes with the two. I would say are kind of like hand in hand. Now with Trump, now he already had bread, right? But I wouldn't say that he was a politician. Again, he's a businessman, and like people usually like when you hear that, people say like, I've heard both. I've heard people like he's trying to run the country like a business. Some will say that and like he's trying to run the country like a business, and it's like, oh, it makes sense. Like that's good. And then other people will be like, he's trying to run the country like a business. And it's like, okay, I could also see why that is bad. Like there's things are so, guys, I wouldn't say it's clown world, but it is definitely.
No, it's clown world, dude. You can say it. It's clown world.
There is something going on. It's not okay, and it puts people in weird, but like I'm not gonna lie, I feel very weird. Like sometimes I'm not gonna lie, guys. As much as I go on about free speech and I'm like, yeah, fuck, I want to say whatever I think. Like sometimes I like, especially with this stuff, I do feel the peer pressure sometimes.
Oh yeah, that's easy to.
And feel. That's why I really.
But see, like that peer pressure is actually misapplied to you because, all right, you live in Pennsylvania. That's going to be one state amongst many. So I don't know exactly how the math works out, but if you lived in Minnesota, or no, where was it? Montana, actually. If you lived in Montana, your vote would matter more there than it does in Pennsylvania by virtue of the lack of population in Montana. Because that's how the Electoral College.
I don't even think if it would matter if my vote mattered. I think it would still be. So then, because if my vote mattered, I would be surrounded by people that think like me, I guess, politically.
Well, I mean, like, if people thought different than you, your vote matters a little bit, but not to the extent that it would matter if you voted differently in Montana.
Honestly, like, if I'm really honest, I'm not concerned about that.
1.36 votes compared to, say, a vote in California. You see what I'm saying?
And I can dig that. But if when I say like the peer, yeah, I do. But like when I say like the peer pressure, I mean like even if my vote mattered and I could get if the policies and things that like I was in favor of, were approved and like all that and stuff like I didn't like weren't. I still like I'm a social animal. Like I have to do my day to day. Like I'm not gonna. Like get this, like I don't have any political signs on my lawn or anything. Mm-hmm. And some of that is just because like I don't think I even like, even though I like talking about it and like it's interesting to me, like I don't care that much. And like when I feel like when I talk to some people about it, they I guess they care a little more, and that's okay. Again, I like doing shit like this, like just go on the internet talking about it. I think it's fun. The culture, I think culture and our social interactions are way more important than the political stuff because it always leaks into the political stuff, which is what we're seeing now. A lot of things right now are based off of identity politics and things that have to do with like how we interact with each other socially. Like big things right now are like immigration.
Yeah. Well, I mean, human beings are tribal species. We all form various tribes, which creates various types of teams. It's us against them. And, like that is part of who we are, and recognizing that, we can take a great deal of pride in that as individuals, members of a given tribe. But what we fail to recognize sometimes is that we have our work tribe, we have our family tribe, we have our hanging out after work before we go home tribe. We have our gaming tribes. And now we have our online tribes, and so like the tribes are expanding and we're becoming multicultural in that aspect. So I think the differences of opinion and the trauma of 2016 election of Donald Trump and the 2020 not re-election of Donald Trump, I think everybody's just kind of over that part, and they're recognizing that, hey, I got a lot of different tribal members and a lot of different tribes that I'm associated with, that it's really just not worth blowing up the world constantly, especially people's individual personal worlds, just because they want to win a point. And I think a lot of people have learned now that, you know what, people are going to think what they think. People are going to move forward with their lives. I'm going to vote however I'm going to vote and move on with my day. And I think that's really what's about to happen, and probably the reason why Trump's going to win.
Paul, I retract my statement from earlier. You are not black-pilled. You are quite hopeful. You're an optimist. You're like, hey, man, it's fucked, but like, you know, people, you seem to see the good.
I'm still planning on camping.
I mean, hey, it's like, hey, like, you know, be prepared. You know, it's never bad to, you know, have an umbrella in case it rains. But you're having faith that people will see through the bullshit.
I think
whatever
they already
the bullshit it be, because again, I think we're getting it from both sides.
Yeah, I think they already are. Like, I see it at work. I drive and deliver auto parts for a living. Nothing special. You know, I see it at work. People are talking. And sometimes people try to like wrangle me into the conversation, and I just tell them I'm going camping. I don't know about you, and that kind of kills the conversation. And after that, you know, like I see other people that are leaning more towards the left, and you know they're very quiet. They're very not prone to speak up. And the ones that are more towards the right are more prone to speak up, but they're also being respectful.
Really, I always thought that was the other way around. I've noticed. And maybe that's just because of where I live.
Yeah, well, I do live in a more conservative town than you, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know Philadelphia all that well personally. Most of my folks were hail from Pennsylvania area, Wilkes-Barre. But like, I've never really been around Philadelphia all that much, so I don't know the politics.
It's very, very liberal.
Okay. So,
Which I would say, I if I had to categorize myself, I would say I'm a classic liberal, because again, the things mean different things now. Like I personally, like again, I have certain opinions about certain things, but like I'm like everyone should be able to do, again, as long as you're not breaking the law or harming anyone, you know.
You know what Trump would have been considered 20 years ago? This might twist your brain. You know what Trump was considered 20 years ago?
A liberal, yeah.
He was considered a classic liberal.
I would actually argue that he still is. You can tell, but you can tell by the way he talks, and like there's certain things that people try to put on him that like just aren't true. And again, this is not. I'm not gargling Trump's nuts, guys. Like seriously, it's just these are just facts. It's just, and it's the only reason it's even a talking point is because of the things that are said. Like they're so blown out of proportion, and like they're just flat out not true. And honestly, it's funny. It's funny. But then again, the same thing does happen on the other end. Something really, really funny that recently happened. This was on my list of things to cover yesterday. The Olympics thing.
Oh, that's a travesty.
With the female boxer. And they're like, oh, no, she's trans. And then, whoop, nope. And what's crazy is I remember someone, I think my wife came to me and told me that.
Like, dude, I'm hearing
and I was like, oh, word? And I didn't say anything about it. I didn't. Yeah.
I don't even know, man. I'm still hearing that she and apparently another one is a she, but not. I don't know. Like, for me, the Olympics, I got turned off by it because of the opening ceremony. And it's not because of the Christianity thing. It's more because, like, where in that ceremony were the Olympians supposed to be made to feel honored in that whole ceremony?
Yeah, 1 second, Paul. Keep going. No, keep going.
My curiosity is, where in that ceremony were the Olympians in France supposed to be made to feel honored and welcomed to the country of France? And I just did not see a lick of hospitality in that. You know, people could talk about how Christians were being insulted and dumped on. Okay, fine, but where were the Olympians in that? Where were they being considered in that whole farce of a performance? Where was their honor? Where was their welcome? Where was their greeting to the country of France? And that to me was like the ultimate, like, dude, you're making a mockery of the life work of all these Olympians that are extremely talented individuals who've literally trained since the moment they had a dream to do something with their lives. And that's the real travesty of that whole opening ceremony, which I think doesn't get enough press time at all. It's like, where was that respect to be paid to them? I didn't see it anywhere. So that's kind of where I'm at with that situation.
I missed. Just repeat that last part.
Well, I mean, it's like, where was the respect that was supposed to be paid to these Olympians in that performance? Opening ceremony. Like, yeah, that's the real travesty, I think.
I mean, the opening ceremony definitely was weird, and that was another thing. Like I said, my wife was like telling me about the different things, the different controversies that kept coming up, and you were the first one. Like it was like the Last Supper, and I'm like, Now again, I do think that specific thing was picked because they kind of in the back of their head were like, yeah, this may start some shit.
But yeah, they were looking to start something.
Get this, but it objectively was not that, and it was really funny to see like conservatives. And get this, I believe in the Christian faith. You feel me? Like so, like I get it, but like I wasn't. It was like, oh nope, look, you're wrong. You look stupid. Because it could be BS too. Like that could be engineered too. Like I don't know, but like it is like I gotta go by what is presented in front of me, and it looks
so,
like
with what's presented in front of you. Did you at any point during that opening ceremony feel like the Olympians were being paid some homage or tribute of welcome to the games by the country of France?
I mean, it just looked like a show.
It looked like a show.
Really look like.
Did it look like any kind of like, hey, Olympians, we want you in our country. Thank you for being here. You know, like that to me, in my mind, that's what the opening ceremony is all about. Like, did that come across in any way, shape, or form in your mind? Like, did that get communicated?
If I'm honest, I'm not the person to ask. Like, I don't, because I'm not gonna lie. I thought the like the part with like the band or whatever, and like I was all hardcore with the pyrotechnics. I thought that was cool. Like, I'm just keeping it about. I thought that was cool, but
a cool show. But was there actually any like, hey, welcome to our country, Olympians. Thanks for being here.
I don't know. I don't know. Get this. What does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, we've
like
seen
what
it
does it look like if they were welcoming?
You have the Olympians. Like I remember in a previous game, the Olympians were literally on the field and they were literally singing their national anthems left and right, up and down the aisle. Each country being included. I remember in previous times it wasn't some farce of a show, and it's like, come on, like where's the honor? Where's the tribute?
You saying there wasn't like a universal theme, which is kind of the point of the Olympics in the first place.
There was no clear message that the Olympians were even there. You know, they're like
art.
There's no clear message of the sacrifice that these Olympians have put their lives through. You know, to like say, hey, yo, we acknowledge that you've worked so hard to get here on the world stage. Like, where is that clear message?
I mean, I would argue that goes without saying, the fact that they're in the Olympics. I think the people in charge of it, you know, they were artists. They were hired to do a job. They did it. And get this, I'm sure they're happy still because they got a reaction, whether it be positive or negative. A lot of people liked it. Some people didn't.
But that's the travesty, is that
being justified and liking it is one thing,
but see, that's my point, bro. It's like it did go without saying, and that was their opportunity to say, like, to these Olympians, like, yo, you made it, you got here, to recognize that. You know, like these guys. I mean, maybe you're too young to remember this, but I remember when the Olympics was literally only held once every 4 years. You know, and they did summer games and winter games all in one shot. You know, and now it's 2 years for summer, and then you get 2 years to wait till the winter games, and then 2 years again for summer. But like, these guys are literally spending 4 years at a time working on their event, trying to either get a medal or do a repeat performance, which is incredibly hard to do. You know, so for us, it doesn't seem like as big of a time crunch as it is for them, but that's a huge consumption of somebody's life. You know, like, just every 4 years you get this shot to get that goal, and to just kind of be treated like a set piece is, I don't know, I feel like that's really disrespectful to the Olympians themselves, and I think that they are deserved an apology from France for that, because like they're supposed to be the center attraction, and that's their one moment where they all get to shine in the same light. And now from there, people get to go higher, and to deny them that moment of shine, that to me is pretty shitty. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, hey, honestly, I did not even think about it from that angle. I don't think I've heard anyone. Everyone's either like, "What do you mean it was stunning and brave?" Or some people are like, "I don't know, it was cool." Like me, I'm just like, like it was dope. I see where everyone is coming from. That doesn't mean everyone's right? Like I get it, but I think it was just, I think it was postmodernist artists, trying to push the boundaries. They had this opportunity, they did some weird stuff, and when they gave their explanation as to like what it meant, it checked out. However, there are a few other things that did happen around that time that would argue otherwise.
Hey, bro, so I'll admit to something. So catch me up here. I honestly was so disgusted with the performance that I didn't even bother to look into the explanation. What was the explanation given?
So like that, apparently the image was not the Last Supper. It was the Feast of let me see. Let me look it up. Feast of Dionysus, which the Festival of Dionysus, otherwise known as the Greater Dionysus, was the theatrical event of the year in the 5th century Athens. Every year in the spring, around March, playwrights would compete to entertain the masses. So the guy was like, oh, it's kind of like the Olympics, and Dionysus, Greek, like you get it. Like it's like, oh, that goes together. And then like even with like, and there's a bunch of other imagery. It wasn't. I mean, that was like the big thing, but like I remember even a few people were talking about like with the headlet, like the Marie Antoinette thing. They were like, "Isn't this demonic?" And I'm like, no, that's Marie Antoinette. She got her head cut off. Like I get it. It's in France. like you don't get it. And then some people be like, "Well, it was a drag queen." I'm like, "Well, so what?" Like I don't. Like I don't.
Yeah, know. I mean, I don't know. Like to me, the whole performance just reeked of not giving a shit about the Olympians, and that to me,
I don't think they did. So if that's what you mean, I get that. They didn't care about it. They cared about putting on their show, and they did.
Yeah, they did their
but I'm
show.
not gonna use that as like, because I personally don't care. So like, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, like I mean, it's like to me, it's like if you're gonna put on a show to honor the Olympians, then you gotta at least honor the Olympians. Like that's part of the gig. It's part of understanding the assignment, and to not understand the assignment to that degree is, well, that's just pretty bad. I mean, it kind of reeks of uneducation, in my opinion. So it's like, I don't know why that got missed or how that got missed, and that to me deserves an explanation, I think.
What did you think about the boxer thing? Like when you heard about that?
I've been hearing about there's a dude who's not a dude, but is a dude with XY chromosomes that's failed 2 tests before the Olympics.
It failed 2 gender tests, but the gender test came from, I would say, a non-credible source.
So
like
I mean,
that would even matter. And then we don't even, and again, intersex is also like, I think it is one of those weird that, but like again, the person is not trans. At least that's what the evidence shows, right? Which is crazy that they even have to.
All right, so when you say not trans, you're saying that this person who's boxing is not attempting to transition from a man to a woman.
No.
Is that what you're saying? Okay. No, that's not what you're saying.
No. That is what I'm saying. Like, it's a woman, born a woman, born female.
Born female.
Yes.
Who has failed two DNA or 2 chromosome tests prior to this Olympic Games?
To my understanding, it was from a non-credible source.
Both sources?
Russia was involved, I believe.
Okay, so.
Actually, I can look it up. 1 second. I was reading about it the other day.
Every other woman's butt. and that's what's going on.
Again, which I think is weird because because again, now with the trans and sports thing, I've talked about this. I've talked about this with people who are, I would say, like, trans activists, or maybe not trans activists, but like people who, have no problem with trans people. And it's a touchy situation. I get it. But like, yeah, maybe not. And like, as weird as it may seem, I feel like the only compromise would be like a trans league of sorts. But which I think people would be down for personally. But, yeah, the trans and sports. I don't think if you've gone through puberty as a male, I don't think you should compete with someone that went through puberty as a female, because I feel like usually we only hear the conversation when it comes to trans women in sports, but trans men are in sports too. Like, it does happen, and so like personally, like the way I feel about that is like no, but.
All right, so like here's my question, I guess, for the men trying to become women who are fully transitioning. And I mean this with all the respect in the world. Why aren't we seeing them performing or attempting to perform in traditional female sports? Why are we only seeing the showcase in where raw male power absolutely dominates? Like, why aren't we seeing this in figure skating?
You mean like close contact sports, or like lifting, stuff like that?
Like, we're seeing it in lifting, we're seeing it in close contact sports, but we're not seeing it in stuff like figure skating. We're not seeing it in stuff like women's gymnastics. We're not seeing it in stuff like synchronized swimming. Like, why are we not seeing these men who are transitioning into becoming women participate in those sports? Why is it all these raw power?
I think there's a reason why explanation for that. So like gymnastics, females usually do better in gymnastics because of how their bodies are formed, and especially how they go through puberty. So I would argue, and I don't think that, now I'm not gonna lie, there are definitely, I would argue, there is at least one trans woman or trans woman athlete that is like full of shit, and they're trying to finesse, right? But I don't think that's the case for every single trans female. So I would argue like, because maybe we don't know when they transitioned.
We're not trying to judge the whole book here. I'm asking about, like, why aren't we seeing individual pages of people?
Because of the physicality of it and athletes.
But like, why aren't we seeing the individual page of, like, there's a man deciding to become a woman. This new woman is now pursuing gold medal in uneven parallel bars. Like, why aren't we seeing that? Like, we're only seeing
because those particular people, their interests don't lie in those sports.
Okay, but
they haven't trained for, like you said, the Olympics is like your whole life. Like, if you're a professional athlete, because I would argue that all professional athletes, their dream is either to win the championship of whatever league they're in and go to the Olympics, right? Because like that's how like you're one of the best. So like this is like a whole life thing, and then because it's a physical thing, you can only do it but for so long in your life. So like you have like a time clock on it, and like you said, like sporting events are held either annually or semi-annually. So because of that, I would argue that these people, before they transitioned, they were into certain sports, right? They got good at those sports. They transitioned, and because they're still the same person, even though they transitioned, they're still the same person. So they still are in those sports. And I think like things like synchronized swimming, like you said, figure skating. I mean, like there are male figure skaters, but like women are better at it because physically, a lot of the time they're lighter, they're more slender. Same thing with gymnastics, the way their bodies are, they're very proficient at it. And that's the kind of thing that you're doing that from when you're little. So
well, I mean,
I would say that's why.
People have been transitioning, for a long time now. Ever since the Roman Empire. There's a great documentary of what's his name, Gallienus. He was like he transitioned from male to female and consequently got assassinated by the time he turned 18. He became a Roman emperor at 14. But like people have been transitioning for a long time, but we're just now seeing these transitioners going into sports, but they're sports that are typically dominated by men anyways. They're just being put at a tier where they're allowed to compete against women, and that's why it really smells of a lot like finesse in this respect. But we're not
I
seeing
think
any.
some of the cases are finesse. I don't think it's every single one.
Well, yeah, I know that's what you're saying, but like we're seeing this, and it smells to a lot of people in the world right now that like these guys are just finessing the game. But like we're not seeing any examples of these men becoming women saying, you know what, I want to not do the rings in gymnastics. I instead want to be on the balance beam in gymnastics. And we're not seeing that. And we've not seen any attempts at that. I mean, yes, the Olympics for these events happens once every 4 years, but we have a lot of college events in between here in the States and abroad that allow for these competitions to happen. And we're not even seeing the beginnings of that. So yeah, we got a lot of people transitioning, but they're not actually playing the part that they supposedly say that they are. And that's where I think a lot of people are becoming very suspicious of the behavior.
I think,
and I think
because
it's a fair suspicion, in my opinion.
I mean, no, it is. So like, I can dig it. Only thing I would say is like, because it's like we said, like when you're an athlete, this is something you have trained for a long time. Mm-hmm. So it's like, let's say I'm 27 and I'm like, I'm going to transition. Right. Mm-hmm. I've been doing deadlifts my whole life. I've been lifting at a competitive level. But you know what? Now I want to get into gymnastics. Yeah, right. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's because, like, again, and just because you transition, that doesn't mean your interests suddenly change. Like like if you're an athlete, you're at the level where you're competing professionally, you've been doing this. So like, just because someone like transitions, I don't think that, and they're in a sport, it could be anything. So like, if you're born male and then you decide to transition, you decide to transition, that doesn't, like, I've been doing mixed martial arts my whole life, that's what I've gotten really good at, like, and again, I'm not saying that it's not fucked up, and like, I can dig, like, I think for trans people, it's like, well, yeah, I'm still me, I want to compete because I was always competing. It's just I'm a woman now, so I'm gonna compete in the women league, and it's like, oh, sweetheart, I'm sorry, but like, it's just not the same. It's just not feasible. I mean, it's feasible, but we see the results of that, and you're just not good.
Have you seen the damage some of these girls?
I've seen some stuff.
It's pretty tragic.
But then to bring it back to the Olympics thing, though, girl got her ass beat, but she got beat by a girl. You feel me? Like, and it's like, just because someone, like, just because like she dug in that ass, which is what she was supposed to do, she's a dude. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that's a strong looking broad. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, she looks like a dude. I see why people, but like, it's still, it makes so like, when these weird trans things in sports happen that like are like obviously like wrong happen now, those get less credit, and like those instances where it's like, oh, we should pay attention to this, and like, oh, hey, wait, maybe that shouldn't have been allowed because of like this, which is, it's clear. I don't know if it's prejudice. It's so many. It's a lot of different things, because like, it's like, yo, like, she's not trans. So like, how you look stupid. Like all the people that were like, oh, what?
Everybody that, like, all the reports I get on X, because that's my main news feed, is the X.com app, is saying that she is XY chromosome. Like, not a single one has been noted or community noted saying that she's not XY chromosome. So like, maybe that's also part of the issue, is this isn't being corrected as far as the general public's concerned. But so far, everything is saying. Sorry,
I personally say it's not the general public's business. And then, but I think, again, I do get it, because I would argue that if they were trans, wouldn't they have announced that at the rooftops? Now I don't know what country is she from?
I think it was Algeria.
Algeria. All right, let's see. Algeria. Country,
But I mean,
North
like
Africa.
that,
Okay.
like so far on X, everything is saying XY chromosome. Like all the reports, every time it comes up, I don't even bother to comment on it, but like all the reports that come up on it is XY chromosome, and nothing has been noted on X saying different than that. So if that's
Okay, so
not
I just
true-
Googled Algeria, right?
Yeah.
I just Googled Algeria, and I don't know, something just told me Google Algeria religion, right? So it's obviously, again, it's North Africa. So what religion do you think
I would imagine
Algeria
Islam.
is? Like, what's the country's? Yeah, ding, ding, ding. Sunni Islam. So if y'all actually think an Islamic country is gonna, this is the Olympics. This is how, get this. This is the safe, no bloodshed way for countries to like swing dicks and own each other, right? You think they're gonna send a trans person? Like, I mean, maybe if they really were like, oh, we're trying to win, you know, that's a funny joke. But like, no, wouldn't happen in a million years.
I don't know, man. I've heard of crazier things, honestly. Like Trump winning.
Wait, now come on, Islam. Think about it, that's a good point. I like, now that I'm like looking at, now I'm like, that's all I need to do. Because when you were saying, you're like, oh, you were saying she got XY code, because I looked into it briefly and I saw that, like, again, there was some like gender report, but like the people who it was from, it was not a credible source, and like they had a bad reputation for being funny with the money and falsifying documents. And then on top of that, her family also came out, like her father or something made a statement, was like, yes, that's my daughter. It always has been, asshole. And I'm like, so her dad, I don't know how old her dad is. He's some old Algerian Muslim dude. And you're telling me, like, oh my, that's funny. Okay, boom, yo, case debunked, yo. That's all we had to do, y'all. All we had to do was Google her country. We Googled her country, and now we know, obviously. I'm not gonna lie, that would be wild. That's a South Park episode. So, Muslim country sends trans athlete.
Why is this still going on X? Why is this report not being noted on community notes? That's the question. If that is, in fact,
as far as I know, X, you could say whatever you want. So like people spread bullshit all the time. You feel me?
Yeah, but a lot of times that bullshit gets noted up. You know what I'm saying? Like.
It could be noted up, but like, again, I think it's because
I've seen it in the past where like something was a lie and then it gets corrected. And it's like, actually, like there's a whole thing going on right now with the UK. Apparently, a bunch of videos are saying that people are getting arrested for freedom of speech issues, and it turns out that the footage being used is like from a drug bust like 20 years ago, and that's being reported in real time.
I keep seeing weird stuff about the UK too. I didn't look into it yet.
So like,
what's going on over there?
There's a whole big old storm on that, apparently, saying that immigrants are causing riots, and that instead of arresting the immigrants that are causing riots, the UK are arresting people that are protesting against the rioters and trying to fight for their neighborhoods. And then they're showing all this footage, but it turns out that a lot of it's, especially when it comes to the cops arresting people, a lot of it's apparently from footage regarding a bunch of drug busts that happened 2, 3, 4 years ago, and they're being misappropriated to say that the cops are actually arresting people for freedom of speech issues. And so it's really alarming to
what's actually happening. Like, what is, like,
nobody knows
what's
like, that's,
that's we're over here. Someone online.
Yeah, so like right now,
if anyone watching it is there,
anybody at the UK, please reach out. Let us know what the hell's going on in your country, because it sounds like you're going to hell in a handbasket. But yeah, I mean, like,
we need to worry about ourselves, man.
Things are being community noted in that respect, and the record's being corrected in real time. Why can't this issue with the Algerian woman be corrected in the same time? Like, I don't see why it hasn't.
Now,
been
that
good.
is a very good point. I still think that evidence shows, because I think, because one, it's a good talking point, because I think, again, the people who I guess normally would be the people, like the people who are being critical of it, again, the usual suspects, it's because they're the usual suspects. Same thing. Get this: you know how many different things have been debunked that like people on the left have said about Trump, and yet those are still talking points that are used to this day. It's for the same reason, I would argue.
Yeah, and
it's because it's convenient, and I think this is a L for the right.
And I think the same is going to happen with Kamala. You know, if they're talking about how she slept her way to the top and blah 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 blah. You know, like whatever. I mean,
yeah, like when I hear that stuff, like I don't believe in it. Like I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could be true, but like when I hear stuff like that, I'm like, that's like whatever. Like that's not what I'm talking about. Like right now, just from what I see, and I don't care. I still think Kamala's corny, and I really do think the hype around her is generated. Again, that is
the big thing about
I'm
Kamala.
like, yo, like she's like lame.
Dude, the big thing about Kamala is if you ever watch video of her, and if you mute her, I swear to God, she looks like she's drunk. Watch.
Oh yeah, like I've seen that. Yeah, that's people were saying that 2 years ago. That
looks so drunk. Like I never paid attention to her before now, and I'm just like, wow, this chick looks drunk, like drunk off her butt. And the same with Tim Walz, actually.
I mean, Trump
recently,
looks like he's drunk.
Well, yeah, he's got a style, I guess. But I mean, like they both look like they're drunk off their ass. If you don't listen to anything, you just watch their videos without any sound, they just look drunk off their ass. They really do, in my eyes.
I don't know much about Tim Walz.
Like their mannerisms, the way they're constantly smiling weirdly. Yeah, again with the weird, sorry. But the way they're constantly they're off. They just appear to be drunk to me. Like it doesn't look like they're actually sane or sober. Yeah, but put words to it, then it suddenly makes sense, I guess.
Maybe, but I do have here something that I want to watch. I wanted to watch this yesterday, but it is Kamala, and she is. This was her yesterday, in Philadelphia, and this is her debuting to the world. Her running mate. I only watched like the first like a few minutes, if that. That was the intention was to watch it here, but all right. And all right, like the beginning part is like really funny to me, personally.
All right, let's see it.
But before we get into it, kids, though, because y'all ain't about to have me out here looking crazy.
And don't forget, subscribe.
All right, you feel me? And yeah, if you're thank you, Paul. Subscribe, guys. And if you're watching and you want to share your opinion and join the discussion, click the link. It's pinned in the live chat. If you're watching on Facebook, everywhere, it's there. And like I see, again, YouTube doesn't show it, and it does show me on this end. But when I click over, I see, we got some people watching on Instagram, so I appreciate you. Or we did. Either way. All right. Nope. Whoops. See? Go home, Dad. You're drunk. All right. Oh, they're playing my girl. The hell?
Did it die?
There it goes. Oh my god. Yeah, it's like this is like the stuff I saw. And
All right.
I just thought like, oh, Beyonce, of course.
Is that? I can't really see very well.
Philadelphia, please welcome the next President and Vice President of the United Walz.
All right. Yeah, let's get y'all talking. All right, whatever. And clearly, like, there's some kind of technical difficulty or delay. And I'm not talking about
Oh, there
like
they
on
are.
our end. I mean, like at this event.
You still
Okay,
there, Bubba?
now on the
Oh, there you are.
sun. Your house is in a dead zone.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. It is good to be back in Pennsylvania.
I would imagine it'd be awkward considering she didn't pick Shapiro.
Yeah.
So let me say, on behalf of myself and the first, second gentleman of the United States, my husband, Doug Emhoff, thank you.
Ill, like, wait, I'm sorry, like, okay, just look, guys, this is we go on internet, right? Let me internet for a minute. That's cringe. I don't know, it's just funny. Like, I would, oh my god, like if she became president, everyone's gonna make fun of her husband. Everyone's going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, just culture. It's just because it's funny. Like, and if you don't
But,
know why,
a
it's
real
funny.
man is okay with that.
Yeah,
You
like-
know, it's all right. A real man would be just fine with that. It's all good. Yeah, if he's a real man.
Yeah, no, yeah. I agree with you. It's still really funny, and he's gonna get made fun of. Like, you feel me? Like I get it.
I mean, honestly, if she wins, more power to her, man. But I don't really see this happening.
And let me just say,
We're doomed if she wins.
it's good to be here with
Oh,
all
I
the
don't think
leaders
we're
who are
doomed.
here. I want to thank former Governor Ed Rendell, Senator Bob Casey, who we will re-elect this November, Senator John Fetterman, Mayor Cheryl Parker,
Betterment.
Yeah, what's the story with Fetterman? You guys like him up there in Pennsylvania?
and it is so good to be here with your incredible governor.
He's kind of in the Biden category of things where it's like, his policies and politics are null and void because physically he can't, like, he's just not. No,
Yeah, he's not there.
like, even when the guy got elected, he just had like a stroke or some shit.
Yeah, I heard
The
about
debate
that,
he
but
did with
still
Dr.
won,
Oz, because
so-
Dr. Oz sucked too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that guy was a
because
Hollywood show.
which, get this, Kamala may win.
You think so?
I'll say this. I think it a little, like a teensy bit more than I did like 3 weeks ago, people were saying like, oh, Biden dropped out. It's gonna be Kamala, and like I scoffed and laughed at the idea. I thought it was funny. I'd be like, yo, can you imagine? And it's so crazy because now it's happening. And I said the same thing back in 2016 when they were like, can you imagine if Trump ends up being one of the nominees? I was like, yeah, can you imagine? That'd be hilarious. And sure enough,
I don't know. I think the fact that Kamala is a cop is really what's going to be her big detractor. I mean, she is responsible.
Whoa. No, it's not, bro, because she is a strong, independent, beautiful, independent, strong black woman, dude.
Yeah, okay. I'll let the black people make that decision.
She took the bar twice. You feel me? But HBCU.
Yeah, she also broke up a lot of families.
Like, how dare? I'm joking, but like that's what I hear. Yeah, that's what I hear when people talk about her. They're just like, oh, she was a DA. She was a teacher. She did this. I'm like, okay, I mean, good. That's good,
She also threatened to throw single moms in the jail when their kids weren't going to school. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, from what I understand, her reputation in Cali is that, and the reason why she didn't win California when she ran the last time is because of the fact that she is considered a cop by the people that she's represented in the past. And she's not trusted in that respect.
Oh, everyone's forgotten that now all of a sudden.
Yeah, like people gloss over that fact. I don't think she's been forgiven for that. That's another reason why I don't think she's going to beat Trump, is just because a lot of people have memories and they haven't forgotten the fact that she really did destroy a lot of lives as a DA. So
I don't think she's going to beat Trump because, like, I just think, like, overall, just policies and culturally and everything. I think a lot of people, again, people are real. Honestly, the thing most Americans are really worried about is the money and the immigration thing. And most people, I think, believe it or not, actually have a pretty well. There are some people when it comes to an immigration thing, it is coming from some weird, like, Zionist, like, prejudice place. But, like, most people, again, it's America. We get that people all over the world come here to do, but, like, you can't just walk in. And get this, that's what Trump, like, that's all he's been saying. And what's crazy is when I look at the news, I look at like news, right?
When Trump actually,
and same thing goes for Fox. Fox is full of shit.
When Trump said he actually wanted to create an actual pathway for citizenship, I think that really rung a bell in me back in those days. I was like, wow, he's actually going to fix this? Because
get this, you should be able to come in here, but like it is a little too hard. Like if you're just some regular average working Joe, like the past requirements to become a citizen, I'm not gonna lie, it was a lot of like shit that like even as a born citizen isn't required. Now, if you're born here, that does come with certain rights, and like I can dig that, but like you would have to know and do shit that like I don't freaking know. You feel me? So like I think like some of that's unreasonable. Again, a background check, like you get a physical. Where are you gonna live? We gotta get you a social security number. And get this, I'm not against some government assistance starting off. Like if we could work out, I feel like there are ways to like work out like, okay, because it would be controlled, but it's like, oh, you come in America, hell, give them $500. Now that'll probably add up. I'm just throwing like a rant, but like yeah, like maybe like get started. Like there are compromises and ways, because again, I don't think it's about, because get this, we want people to come in. You know why? Because that's how we get more money. The country generates more money the more people there are who are working and buying things and adding to the thing. But we can't just have any old body coming in because it's too much. Get this, even if a lot of people want to come, because I'm not saying, again, and this is where the right gets it messed up, right? Because they're fear mongering too. They'll be like, oh, well, like they're letting in rapists and murderers. And get this, yes, a lot of rapists and murderers are getting in. This is just technical fact. Like, yeah. However, that is not the majority of the people that are coming in. And when you make ads saying like it gives off a certain message, and it's fear mongering, and it's like, how are people supposed to feel? I thought you weren't prejudiced. Aren't you mad about how CNN keeps like twisting your words, and yet you do stuff like this again? Because they're all full of it. They're all full of it.
Like, this is one problem with our journalism today, is that it's meant to incite and enrage. It's not actually meant for discourse anymore. It's not meant for the discussion. Instead, what's happened to the discussion is that it's been allowed to be taken over by the likes of Joe Rogan and now us. You know, like the whole gamut of the internet gets to talk like we are right now. And this used to be the purview of broadcasters. You know, it's no longer the case. Now it's just common everyday guys like you and me just sitting down, chatting in our houses and saying, "Hey, yo, how's it going?" You know, like, and I can see where, you know, people get really freaked out because of the news, and why the news is, I think, ultimately going to suffer in the end, because people just turn off the TV at the end of the day and just say, you know what, I'll just talk to somebody directly and try to sort this out myself, much like you and me are doing at the moment. You know, and like I can see where people are like upset about the pathway to citizenship idea, but I also see where that is actually the ideal. Like, if we could actually create one to where it's like you could have a meritocracy based system. You know, we kind of have it with the H-1B visa program currently in place. It definitely needs some improvement because there's some manipulations there that are happening to our own American citizens in that respect. But, you know, like, if we can start working towards creating that kind of a pathway to citizenship where people are actually contributing to the country that they want to be a part of, you know, and that they have an incentive to become a citizen as opposed to a lifetime green card holder, which that to me is a little irksome, because you're living here, but you're not actually becoming a citizen. That's an issue. You know, that needs to be addressed. Like, why aren't you becoming a citizen? You know, you should try to be doing that. But we have examples of this going on 20, 30 plus years, people never actually finishing the job of becoming a citizen, you know, all the while still remaining here. And, you know, like, these are questions that need to be addressed. And taking the time to answer those questions shouldn't make a person racist. You know, it should just be a person saying, "Hey, yo, what's up? How come your progress has slowed down? Let's get you citizen set up, and so you can actually vote in an election." You know, like, this should be the goal. This should be the dream. You know, why is that not the case for you? Like, not you specifically, but the hypothetical person that is out there still not having their citizenship after 20 plus years. You know, these are questions I think are legitimate. You know, in terms of helping people out, of course, everybody wants to help people out.
They are.
You know, like, you just got to look at the whole situation and take the incitement out of it that's being produced by our media, you know, and let that rage just get quashed and say, okay, well, we have a problem here. Let's address it legitimately and not try to insult the other side of it, and just say, hey, yo, let's make some progress on this for once. You know, instead of just throwing names at each other left and right and making it to where nothing can actually get done. That's the real disgusting part of this whole situation, is we've allowed our politicians to just call each other names, say things like, oh, this person's so weird. You know, it's like, whatever. I mean,
weird.
Actually solve the problem. You know, like, let's solve the problem.
This person hates kids.
Yeah, stuff like that. And it's just, at the end of the day, it's not going to get anything done correctly. You know, in terms of actually helping anybody, being the correctly. You know, like.
Well, I think all in all, the moral of the story is go camping, right?
That's kind of where I'm at with it, dude. But hey, man, it's been a lot of
fun.
Go
camping. But all right.
I promise next time.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna. No, you're good, man. All right, until next time. The Bull Paul, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, oh wait, Kamala. You know what? I'm not gonna lie, I was looking at the clock and I'm like, you know, we should probably end. But if no one else has any questions, comments, or concerns, honestly, I will bow out, because like I said, I work a lot and it was cool to do this like 2 nights in a row. Because I don't get to do it a lot. I'm gonna do it some more. And like I said, I am working on like 2-3 other video essays and stuff. Like nothing, like one of them was a political thing. It's part 2 to the other Trump video I did like a year or 2 ago. Kind of, because things have changed. But and then The other one is, wait, did I tell you about the Kanye video? Oh, I probably shouldn't have said that out loud. It's stuff is coming. Yeah, I'm making a Kanye video. So yeah, I said it. All right, guys. It's been fun.